There we go. Excellent. Okay. I was hearing myself back through my monitors here, these headphones, and it was really kind of throwing me off. So that's really good. So I shuffled the cards, and it's Memorial Day here in the States. And Memorial Day is typically a day when we remember fallen soldiers and people who served our country and that sort of thing. But uh, I wanted to broaden it a little bit. I thought it would be a good day to go to the cards and consult our ancestors. And this is definitely something new to me and definitely kind of stretching me quite a bit. I'm not really used to consulting or doing ancestry work or any of those types of things, but I just wanted to see what the cards had to tell us because I don't know what I believe about ancestors and such or the afterlife or those types of things, but I definitely trust the cards. And so I'm using, I'll just pull one to show you. I'm using my Centennial Original Rider Waite deck. This is the deck that I got to learn with. And so this was my training deck because the Rider Waite symbolism is it just kind of is what most books and teaching tools are based off of. And so I thought that, it's kind of a good old system that we got from our ancestors because this has been around a lot longer than I've been alive. And so I figured that this was a good deck to use. And so I shuffled the cards. I have the cards right here. I shuffled the cards and I went ahead and I drew three. I generally draw my cards before I start the video just because I want to look at them. I don't want to sit here and ramble a whole bunch, and so I want to take a look at the cards and just kind of see what messages pop out to me and just kind of think on it just a little bit so that, I kind of know what's going on. So I drew these three cards here, and I'll go. I randomly drew these three. Let's see. Actually, this is the first one. The first one is the where's that? There it is. The Six of Swords. That's the very first card. And then I drew the Seven of Swords, which is interesting. I don't generally draw two cards that are back to back like that are right next to each other in the deck generally. And then I drew the Chariot. I like that. Sorry, my camera kind of reverses, so when I go this way, Well, anyways, you get it. So, let's talk first about, you know, let's talk about this card right here. This is the very first one that I drew. It is the Six of Swords, and I'm gonna kind of hold it back here. There we go. The Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is showing a picture of a mother and child being taken by boat across a river from one place to another. The Six of Swords is really a kind of a transition card. It really kind of invites you to go on a journey and invites you to transition and things. And this is a card of like the ancestors are trying to tell us, or the energy from them being absorbed back into the energy that we have, the universal energy that we have. They're just trying to tell us that we can move on, that we really have our own journey, and that they are the ones, like this person right here, pushing the boat. And so we're like the mother and child, and they're like the ones pushing the boat. That because of them, we came into being, and because they survived, and because they gave life to someone, that that it just continues to push forward. And so they're really kind of steering us along. Let me put that card right up there so you can see it a little better. So they're steering the boat, and they're steering us on our journey. And so, this is really a message of hope, is that, we can rely on our ancestors, that we can look back and see where we came from. And even if we don't know who exactly they were, we know that there is a rich history for each of us that, that steered us into who we are. And so that uh, we're part of a fabric or a woven piece of artwork in this world, and we're not just a random thread, but we are, just part of this work of art. And even though we may just be one thread in it without us, the artwork, the big woven piece of material wouldn't look the same. And so we're added to, or added upon, many other strands of thread and making this big masterpiece. And so, we matter. We matter. Our lives are significant, and our lives matter, and our lives have the who we are started centuries ago. There was people that, oops, sorry, I'm dropping the card here. There was people that didn't know that we ever would be, but still they invested their lives and their energy and their work to create something, and we are the current expression, the current walking expression of who they were on the earth today. So that's kind of a really good card. I like that. But this one is a unique card here. No, they're all unique cards, but the seven of swords reminds us that all of our ancestors, I'm going to hold it over here, that all of our ancestors weren't just grand good people. That sometimes that they operated by deceit and deception, and sometimes they struggled to do what was right in the world, and sometimes they were bad or evil people. Sometimes they just weren't really good. I mean, someone in this world was related to Hitler, or some ones in this world have Hitler in their lineage. And so, as a cousin, or a, great 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 cousin or something. And so, every evil person in this world we are somehow related to in one form or fashion, or some is the evil that has been in this world for a lot of years, and some of the most terrible things that have ever happened to other people were done by what possibly could be our ancestors. Our ancestors were not always good, perfect, moral, right, good people. Sometimes they operated by deception and trickery, and sometimes they conned other people to get what they wanted, and all of those kinds of things. And so sometimes our ancestors weren't just always these great people. I think they want us to know that. They want us to know that they lived very real lives, and that they just didn't always do the best or make the best decisions in this world. But ultimately, this gives us hope that we don't have to be these perfect people, that we're still here today, that their line still went on, and in that, we can be a better expression than they were on the earth today. And so we can turn we can turn the wheel of our lineage, and we can, in a direction that is positive, in a direction that gives back to humanity, and does good to humanity. So I think they wanted us to know that even though they're a part of our journey and they're kind of pushing us along, and they are the ones that started us on this journey, they weren't always great people. But I think this is a really hopeful card, because sometimes we have a lot of shame and guilt and things based on the choices that we've made, and we think that all hope is lost. And then I think that kind of brings us, this card brings us to this card, but I think, let me switch places here. I think this card right here leads us to the Chariot card, because the Chariot is a picture of a guy in a chariot, and he's ready to go. And so this is really, this card here is a success card, a will card, a determination card. And I think our ancestors want us to know that even though, they may not have been the best people in the world, and even though we may not be the best people in the world, that that we can, uh, we can have success and we can have change and we can do things a lot better and a lot more different than what they did. We can have more solutions than we make problems. And so this is just I think this is a real hopeful message. We want to remember them for who they were. We want to, when you memorialize someone or remember an ancestor, you often generally only look at the positive things. Like you may have somebody who was a slave owner in your past, for instance, and so you may choose not to really look at that as a good thing or a positive thing. But the positive of it is that you aren't a slave owner, but that you see the mistakes and the hardships, and you saw somebody who compromised and maintained the status quo of their time instead of being revolutionary, and that drives us to be revolutionary and not to accept things in our time that just because everyone says they're right, if their convictions that we have are wrong, we say that those things are wrong, we have the willpower to change them. And so we really have the will and the determination. We can really drive our chariot any which way we want it to go. And so but we have the backing of our ancestors. We have their support and their help. We have that energy, that universal energy to tap into and create magic. We can exercise our will and our authority in this earth, and we can practice and we can take and make changes in ourselves through our willpower, and we can ultimately make some universal changes with our willpower. And that there is the definition of magic, or that is a definition of magic, is using your will to make changes in the objective universe and also in your own subjective universe, and in the way that I experience the universe. And so these are three really great cards, and I think this is a really great message from our ancestors, is that they're steering the ship. They're a part of us, and they're a part of our lives. They're a part of our current journey. They really, the things that they did have really pushed us forward, and they actually are part of us even being created. Is that somebody's, my great great grandparents influenced my great grandparents, who influenced my grandparents, who influenced my parents, and who influenced me, and I influenced my children. And so, or my chosen family. Sometimes uh, it's not about blood family. Sometimes it's about our chosen family as well. And so, but and then also remembering that they were real people, and they sometimes operated in less than positive ways. Sometimes they used their magic for very selfish and self-centered things. Sometimes they uh, sometimes they left us behind, and sometimes they didn't consider us at all, and sometimes they squandered it all. And so when we make those really poor decisions, so we can give them a break for who they were, and we can sometimes give ourselves a break, sometimes let ourselves off the hook to a certain degree and not harbor a lot of shame and guilt, but we can mount up our chariot and go in a direction that is much more positive. So that's our tarot reading for today. I hope you have a wonderful and have had a wonderful Memorial Day. I hope hopefully you had the day off, or were able to take some time for some self-care, even if you had to work today or whatnot. And as always, just be blessed and have a really great time, and be sure to like this video and share it. And I really appreciate the feedback that I've had from people, just through likes and shares and things. And so I just thank you for watching these live videos. I'm trying to get a little bit better with my readings. And so with that, I will leave it to the cards and let the cards do the message and do the work in your life. Have a good day.